guys, Christy here from the Stamp Cycle, and welcome to another video for my YouTube channel and blog. So today's card features this really cool folding technique. I've seen this card on blogs and Pinterest, so I thought I would try it myself. And this is called the Diagonal Gatefold card. So it's a gatefold card, but it closes at a diagonal fold. So pretty cool, and so it is surprisingly easy to make. And it's also a great card to use up some of that old designer series paper that you have. I'm using the retired designer series paper English Garden for my cards today. So first you're going to start with a piece of cardstock that's been cut at 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. And you're also going to need 2 pieces of designer series paper that are cut at 4 7/8 by 2 1/4. You'll need 2 pieces of cardstock that are cut at 5 1/8 by 2 1/2. And then for your center of your card, you'll need a piece of cardstock cut at 5 3/8 and 2 5/8. So you're going to want to score that big piece of cardstock at 2 3/4 by 5 1/2. And that's going to make your gatefold card. And then to make the diagonal fold-ins, you're going to take you could do this on your scoreboard or your cutter, but I'm just going to use a metal ruler and my bone folder. And I'm going to create a score line from the top left-hand corner on the left-hand side there to the bottom right-hand corner and create a diagonal score line across the right-hand side of the card. And then I'm going to do the same exact scoring on that left side of that card. So both outer folds of this gatefold card have the same diagonal line from the left to the right. And then you're just going to come in here and use your bone folder and fold all of these pieces into place. So you'll fold both of those center score lines out, and then that creates your diagonal gatefold card. Super easy. Hopefully that made sense. So to figure out how to get perfect layering using your DSP and that cardstock, the best thing to do is just set it on top of the card there, and that will show you how you need to cut these pieces. You want to follow that opening there. So we're going to cut from the top right-hand corner down to the bottom left, and that's going to split that rectangle piece perfectly, that it'll layer on top of those 2 folds on the front of the card. So hopefully this makes sense. It's probably easier for you to see by watching the video than me really explaining it. But again, you'll do the same thing with that piece of DSP. And that's going to give you your 2 layering pieces for the front of the card. Then you're going to take the other 2 pieces, the DSP and the cardstock. You will set that on top of your card, and you'll see again where you need to cut. And for this one, we're going to cut from the top left-hand corner to the bottom right-hand corner. And that's going to split our paper perfectly to give the layers that we need to tuck behind that front opening for the card. So again, hopefully that makes sense. It's much easier to see it on the video for me than to try to explain it. But basically, you're cutting this DSP and cardstock where your opening of the card is, and then where it's going to tuck in behind that card opening. So hopefully that makes sense. It's pretty simple once you look at it and you're trying to figure out where to cut. So now I'm just going to use some snail adhesive to adhere all of these pieces together. So I'll just put that adhesive on the back side of all of my DSP pieces and then layer that onto these Mossy Meadow cardstock here. The green is a retired Mossy Meadow color. And then you'll see those will layer perfectly on the back of the card. So again, I'm just going to use some snail to adhere all of these layers onto the card. So again, by cutting your rectangle pieces, it layers perfectly on this card. There isn't a better way to explain it, but so now I'll just layer those other pieces that we cut onto the very front of our card, and then this gives us the entire card covered in designer series paper with that layer of Mossy Meadow cardstock. So super cute. And so now we need to work on the center of our card, and I'm going to use the matching stamp set that goes with that designer series paper. And this is called I cannot think of what this stamp set's called off the top of my head. But anyways, I'm going to stamp that flower with some crumb cake ink, and then I'm going to come in with mint macaron, and I'm going to stamp the color. I'm going to use the solid stamp of this flower to color that flower super quick. I'm going to stamp it off first and do some second generation stamping here. I didn't want that mint macaron to overpower on this flower. I'm also going to do the same with this Delightful Dijon. I'm stamping the center, but I don't want it to be that strong, so again, I'm just going to use second generation stamping. Then I'm going to come in with my 2-inch circle punch, and I'm going to punch out that flower. I'm going to try to line it up in the very center of that punch it out. And then I've got the 2.5 scallop circle punch that is retired, but this is a great way to use retired products. And I'm going to punch out a piece of crumb cake cardstock. And then I will just layer that circle flower punch on there. And that's going to be the center of our card. So super cute. So I've got this painted greetings, thanks from Simon Says Stamp. And I die cut that 3 times in some Mossy Meadow cardstock. And I'm just going to glue all 3 of these layers on top of each other so that in the end it gives me a chipboard like sentiment. So it's thick with 3 pieces of cardstock. And then I'll just glue that on to the very center of our circle flower piece that we made here. And that's going to be the sentiment for the card. And then I'm going to come in with some Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to cover that entire thanks die cut with the Wink of Stella. That's going to add a little bit of shimmer and a little bit of interest and bling to our card. And it's really pretty. You can see it there in the light. And then now I just took that piece of Whisper White that we cut out for the center. I did the same exact stamping that I did for that center flower piece. And now I'm just going to stamp the sentiment. I'm using soft suede ink for the sentiment because I really wanted it to pop off the page and be darker than that crumb cake ink that we used. So I'll just stamp that down, and then we are ready to adhere this to the center of our card. Again, I'm just going to use some of that snail adhesive. I will adhere that to the center of the card, and then I want to pop up this center sentiment here. So I'm just going to use some of this 3M foam tape. I'm going to apply it to only one side of that circle there so that it doesn't glue our card together. You can still open the card with the circle there in the center. So I'll just put that on one side of the circle, adhere it onto the front of our card, and that finishes our card. Super easy. I really encourage you to give this a try. It's a really impactful card, but super easy to make. Thanks for stopping by today, guys, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.